And then what happens is you go into your daddy's house. No, I don't want to go.
But they really want to go, but because
you have made them feel so bad
right.
going and having fun and enjoying their new siblings that now they feel like they have to choose.
Right. Welcome to another episode of Kingdom Women Talk, where we encourage, validate, and empower other women to do life. We are in episode 2 of our marriage series, and we're going to be talking about blended families. There is no step in blend. Like there's no I in team. There is no step in blend. But oftentimes, these are my step kids. These are my bonus kids. But why they just can't be your kids?
I can, from my perspective, I think it has to do with how the children receive the person that is not their biological parent.
Talk about it.
So if they don't receive you as the parent, it makes it kind of difficult for you to operate in that role if they keep you at the step or bonus level. And I think bonus is okay, especially
bonus is better than step.
Yeah, if there's the parent is still living, things of that nature. I get that. So the bonus, I think you are even a little bit more welcome than step.
Yeah, you are. But it's still, does bonus or step still feel like there may be a line? Like there's still just maybe a small barrier between.
Well, I kind of piggyback off what she's saying and going a little further. It depends on the relationship of if it's the father and the mother has remarried, or it's the father that has remarried and the mother has the angst. Don't you go over there calling her mama, because she ain't your mama. You only got one mama.
Wow.
Or him. Nobody, this is my son. This ain't that man's son. So you make it difficult for the child to accept the other party. You make it difficult for the child to say, so the child to say, that's my mom's husband.
Right.
Or that's my mom's husband, or that's my dad's new wife, or you know what I'm saying? Not, that's my mom. Well, I thought so-and-so was your mom. She is, but I got 2 moms.
Right.
I got 2 dads.
So the other person makes it difficult for the child to even be able to be free in that relationship, almost like they have to choose.
Yes.
Or pick a side, or you're going against the other.
Basically, so it is, that's my stepmom, or that's my stepdad. Like my daughter Marion, it was a blended family. But I didn't say, this is my daughter's husband's son. No, this is my grandson.
Right.
Because he's my grandson.
But don't you think that I have also found that, because, I think all of us are blended families. All of us are blended families. So I have found that when you're able to just love through, right? Regardless of what the other person may perceive this new relationship as, whether they accept it or don't accept it.
Right.
I think we have a responsibility to just love through. And like you said, you know what? Regardless of what they think or what they feel, I know my heart, I know my posture, I'm receiving it all, right? So, nope, that's my son. Nope, that's my daughter. Nope, that's my grandson. No, that's this. Regardless, and I think somewhere along the way, we begin to see the page turning. You know, the page begins to turn, because I think it's almost it kind of makes us feel on the other end, those of us that don't have no issue with it, as if it's a fight.
Yeah.
It's like it's a fight for love or a fight for title, when those of us who are brought into the relationships, we respect your role.
Right.
We respect and we know your mom, we know your dad.
Exactly.
That's not what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
We just want to be in a place where we can make it known we're going to care for them just like we care for our own.
Right.
That's
And don't
right.
put a bookmark in stopping the relationship between the child and the new parent. Stop bookmarking.
Yeah.
You know, stop with because he's moved on or she's moved on. You all still share a child together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the focus should be on that child and what's best
Yeah.
for
Right.
that child
Yes.
or children.
Yes.
Because you have a lot of marriages today where there might be 7 kids.
Yeah.
He came with 3, she had 4.
That's right.
You know, or whatever the case may be. And the man has come in, and these are his children. He's raising them like
Yes.
his children.
Yes.
He's not taking away from their father.
Right.
If nothing else, he's adding to.
Exactly.
And if we say it takes a village
Yeah.
to raise, and then the Lord bless you with a village, because you got this family over here and you got this family over here, and then you come together as a family, but then the outside parties, then they take issue with it, when we always say it takes a village, because then that's just more to love when it's
That's
a blended
right.
family. More eyes to keep them safe, more eyes to support, more eyes to help them academically, to help them to excel, to help them grow up, to catch them when they're falling. It's more eyes. But we can't get over our own selves,
So true.
our own isms, our own likes and dislikes, to be able to see that it benefits the child.
And it benefits us.
It does.
It benefits us when I marry a man who has 3 children. Maybe he's got 3 boys and I got 3 girls. And I've always wanted boys.
That means
'Cause
you ain't gotta
sometimes
have
God does that.
That means you
know?
don't have to have them,
It's like,
right?
wow, I ain't gotta have no more babies. Come on, sons. Yeah, these are my sons. These are my babies.
Right.
Or maybe he's a daddy's girl. You know,
That's good.
and he
yeah.
loves girls. I know. I thank God every day for my son-in-law because he's a daddy's girl. He has loved my daughter's girls since day one. And then, you know, they had their own together, rather, not their own, but together. And he's such a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
You know, they wear him out, but he loves it.
Yeah.
You know, their brother, who's older than they are now, he loves his sisters.
Yeah.
Because he was an only child. You know, and it's nothing for him to do whatever that it is that he gets in his mind to do for his sisters. So when we come together as a blended family, we cheat everybody out of
Yeah.
participating
Yeah.
in loving one
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
When she got my baby over there thinking she his mama,
Right.
them ain't his sisters. Yes, they are.
And that's just so downright. That's, you know what, if we're doing that at this age in our life, it's just time for us to grow up. It's just time for us to grow up. First of all, they're children. Right. And also, we don't think about that we put our own children in a tough predicament. How can they combat that? What are they supposed to say to that? You know? And how do you think it makes the child feel?
It confuses them.
My mama said that I can't call you auntie. Or my mama said I couldn't call you grandma because you're not really my grandma. It's like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Got me want to say what in the Reuben.
But it confuses the child. They're like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel.
I don't know how I'm supposed to act.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you go into your daddy's house. No, I don't want to go.
But they really want to go, but because
you have made them feel so bad
Right.
about going and having
Right.
fun
Right.
and enjoying their new siblings,
Right.
that now they feel like they have to choose.
Right. Yes.
They don't want to make mom unhappy. Or if it's the dad, and there's a dad who loves sports, you love sports, but you have a dad, he loves sports too.
Yeah.
But instead of you all coming together,
can't.
enjoying that, but you know what
Yeah.
keeps coming to my mind? This goes back to he that findeth.
Depends on who you find. Because you
Yeah.
can't love me and not love my children.
Or
So true.
You
Exactly.
can't. You can't love me. And we
No.
see that all the time where they want to be with the woman, but they may not care for the kids, or and vice versa. You see where they love the man, but you got other kids by someone else, and I don't want that. You're right. He that findeth, we gotta embrace all of that, because we are delusional if we think
You're right.
that things are gonna work out favorable if you only want the person and not the package that comes with the person.
and come on, let's be real. In this day and age, who you gonna meet that don't already have children? They may be adults, they may be adult children, and sometimes there's an issue there.
Yeah.
You know, like I marry a man when I marry my man, and he already has adult children and grandchildren. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you've got that dynamics of the adult children who have probably had their father all to themselves, and now he findeth and he wants to marry.
But don't you think that has a lot to do with presentation when it comes to children at any age? Because oftentimes the parent could be hiding the significant other, right? Because they really don't know how to introduce them to the kids, or don't want the kids to know. And then when it's time to introduce them, then it almost feel, they present them in a manner where the child is just kind of off put by that. Like, what? Like,
is happening?
what is happening? So I think that even as adults, we got to think about how we incorporate our children into those things. And I'm a firm believer that everybody is not supposed to meet your children.
So true.
If he's not the he that findeth and she's not the wife, then what? Why your children got to meet every boyfriend?
That's not a good practice.
That's not a good practice. That confuses them, Or why your children got to meet every girlfriend that you have? No. We have to begin to think about what's best for the children in order to make the blending work.
Because children are such loving, free, receptive little spirits. And they don't know until they pick up on it, and they do pick up on it,
Yeah, they do.
that you don't like kids.
And
You faking
oftentimes they know before we, blinded by love, right?
Lust.
Lust, love, whatever we're blinded by. Before we pick up on it, they know. And we often dismiss that, Sheila.
Yeah.
I've heard
That's
people
true.
say, my daughter's having a hard time with my new husband, and we just think they're going to come along rather than explore. Well, why is she having an issue with him? He might
Right.
not be a nice person
To her.
to her. When you leave her there with him, when you go to the store, he could treat her badly, or it could be a situation where the blending just need a little more work. Maybe do things as a collective, not just y'all doing stuff. So we got to pick up on all of that.
Yeah.
And you're right, we have more blended families now than I think ever. We're seeing it. It's multicultural. It's, varying races. There's blends everywhere.
Yes.
And we have to learn how to make this better for our children. It's an issue.
I think blended families are a testament to God's love, that it doesn't matter when you come together, like you said, we've got blended families that have white children, that have Asian children, that They just have a blend of multicultural, multi-ethnic people that they love and call family.
Yeah.
And a lot of times blended families aren't always husband and wife related.
Yeah.
They could be, you just said it, a village, a group of friends that have come together and chosen to love on one another and
their children
and their children. That support that a single mom might need in the neighborhood.
But that was us.
Yeah.
You know, that was us. We became kind of our own village, and looking out for one another.
Right.
Your children was a little bit older. Me and you had toddlers.
Yeah.
You know, and we kind of became and figured it out. You know, so you're right. That blend could look, and we had to then. I guess it's kind of the same way, because the same way our children called you Aunt Love, we would never let them disrespect you, but we blended that so the way that your children didn't feel a certain kind of way when you were spending time with our children.
Right.
So you're right. Blending can come at any level, but it takes work.
Yes, it does.
But often what we hear and see today is we're getting married, or we're about to be a couple, or we're about to this, and you're just going to have to deal with it. It's almost like it's the unspoken. You're just going to have to get on board.
Yeah, and if that's the case, that's not a wise way to go at it, you know, because... You know, the kids, if they're feeling a certain type of way, it's going to come across, and it's going to bring division eventually.
It will.
Yeah.
What did you find? Because you have blended a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Even with even being foster mom, as well as personal, you know, personally as well. So, what did you find? Because you did it well.
I think just incorporating the kids in everything. Like with my foster kids, I did not send them to respite. Sometimes to my own fault, I probably needed a break every now and then, but I never did that because I didn't want them to feel like when we went on vacations or we went on trips and things that they were not welcomed or they didn't feel the love of a family.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they were missing all along.
Right.
So why would I dismiss them from experiencing something they've never had the opportunity to have before or experience before, and probably never would if not in our home? So I made sure that they understood, they may call it a foster home that you're in, but to us, you're family.
Yeah, that's good.
And my kids still keep in contact with me now.
Yeah,
we're family. It doesn't change. The dynamic never changes. If they need something, they call. If they need advice, you know, they're adults, but they call because they need the help.
Yes.
You know, so that I found that is the way that it just didn't even feel blended. You know, we've had Caucasian kids in our home that we raised that are doing well as adults. We've had a plethora of races in our home. You know, and thank God that we were able to not be blinded by cultural differences, but learn from each other. That was the blessing.
And that's what I loved about you in that setting, that the minute those kids crossed your threshold, you were not foster mom.
You were mom.
You did not introduce them unless it was in company of people who didn't know.
Yeah.
And even then, it was said, when'd you have kids?
Right.
Then you sort of had to explain, these are my foster children, but they're my children.
But you never let in.
No, but these are my foster children.
Correct.
No, these are my kids. These are my kids. You know, if I come over, who that little white boy over there? Andrew, you got another kid?
Yep.
She would say, yep. Hey. And she would tell him, that's just ain't love.
Right.
You know, but how she incorporated love in her children, because they were her children.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't matter that she didn't give birth to them. And I think a lot of times we get caught up in, well, I didn't give birth to them. And
that's right.
what's that mean?
Right.
That's right.
You're exactly right. I still had a responsibility.
Exactly.
They were placed in my home for a reason. I had a mandate, not because I didn't see it as foster care. It was mainly ministry.
Yeah.
They can never pay me enough money for the things that we did and
Never.
taught those kids.
Yeah.
Never
right.
ever. So you had to first see it as a ministry, but I just definitely saw it as that and made sure that they knew the love of God.
Yeah, that's right.
That was most important, that they knew who Jesus was and that he was real, that they knew how to pray and
Right.
knew how to read their word with an understanding
Right.
for themselves.
That's right.
You know, just real relationship with God and the love of God, just encompassing.
And what I saw, in order for them to receive that, you also had to give them the earthly love,
Yeah.
that nurturing mother love.
Yeah.
So when you started, because let's remember, these are foster children, what we talked about last week. So when they come into your home, their expectation is just someplace else for me to be,
Yeah.
for somebody else to get another check, because these
Right.
kids know.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
they do know.
For somebody else to get, I guess I'll be here for a little while.
Yeah.
And she'll be my foster mom for a little while. Or, the expectation is not to be wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but the shocker for them was
She flipped the script
she
on them.
flipped it quickly.
Yeah.
They became her children.
Yes.
So it was easy for them to receive when she started saying, in this house, we go to church.
Yeah.
In this house, we love God. We read our word. We pray. So they were more open to that because she had already received them as her children.
And I think we can probably, for me, a few things that stick out from that to help those that are in blended families or about to be in a blended family is you got to be welcoming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. Show thyself friendly.
Yeah. That's right.
Show thyself friendly. But also accountability. The person who has the children, so if it's dad and he's bringing in a new girlfriend, new wife, then he has the accountability to set things in order.
True. I agree with that.
He has to say, if you're gonna love me, then you have to love my children. There is no other way.
Right.
And likewise, if it's the woman who is receiving a new suitor, then she has to set things in motion. If those are her children, you can't love me. You can't spend time with me and not want to bring my children along. When appropriate, of course.
Right.
So set it in motion. And then I hear you saying, and also making sure that everybody understands that it's all one and there isn't any lines or divisions, and everyone receives the loving kindness that's due to them.
That's right.
Right. So it's almost like that becomes the foundational piece of making any relationship. And those that are on the receiving end, I guess we would say it's just time to grow up.
Yeah.
It's time to grow up. It does the children no good to say, that's not your mom, that's not your dad, that's not your grandma. You know what? You can go over there, but, and to start planting those seeds. We should take a practice of not saying anything negative about that child's mom or that child's dad, because that's their child's dad and mom. Why would we want to jade their view of somebody who they love? It's like, why would we want to do that? We're self-sabotaging our own children.
Yeah.
Which create issues.
And ourselves.
Because
Because we're setting ourselves up in our new marriage to have tension.
Yeah.
This, not only tension, but
Discord.
the energy, the discord.
Yes.
Now your new wife is like, you're going to go get your kid. Okay. I guess we got to hear from his mama. She'll be calling 20 times a day, or she'll just be dropping by. It just creates such chaos that the child feels responsible.
Yes,
And
they
so
can.
then the child begins to say, well, you know what? Maybe I won't go over there. Then my mom won't be so upset
Or
act
dad and mom
crazy,
won't be-
or mom and dad won't be
be-
arguing, you know, because now my dad is like, why you got to do this every time he come over here?
Yeah.
You know he comes over here or she comes over here, or why you got to get mad because my wife took her out shopping? You know, whatever the dynamics are, we would do better in the long run, not only for the children but for ourselves,
Yeah.
if we're all in agreement of what's best for the child.
The key word is for the child.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the past relationship. It has nothing to do with what was supposed
That's
to
right.
happen, what didn't happen, whether he left for another woman, whether she left for another man. None of that has to do with for the child.
Child,
And
children.
We just have to keep that the main thing. If we can keep
That's
that
right.
the main thing, then it won't have to be step or bonus in blended families. The families would just sink.
Yeah.
The families would just sink.
Now, is it going to be easy?
Oh,
No.
no.
It's going to be difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know for me, you know, used to tell you, he is getting on my nerves. That boy, Lord Jesus. You know, he would just, because I wasn't used to, I was just used to the girls.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to having a grandson, and I didn't understand.
It's different energy.
You know, so it
Boys
just
bring different energy.
yes, you know, and so it was like, but
Now y'all
I
think
had
it's
to come
these.
to a conclusion that if you're saying he's your grandson and you love him like you love your granddaughters, then you have to change.
Now that also says, that is a good lesson. The lesson also is we have to see past our grandchildren's, our blended family children's moms, dads, and keep focused. Because sometimes we want to bring, we want to connect, but then, like you just said, I don't really want to deal with the mama. I don't want to deal with the dad, right? We have to love the little ones enough
Yeah.
to say, I'll take a L for the home team. You know, to be able to forge a relationship with this one. Or, you know what, I know I'm going to have to hear her mom's mouth, but you know what, I'm going to call and see if I can get her on Saturday. You know, we have to love the littles enough to push past what's uncomfortable for us.
Yeah.
And you can't, you've heard it said so many times, you can't argue or rile up somebody that's just not going to participate in your shenanigans.
Right.
You know, if the mom's cutting up because the kid is coming over, she cutting up.
She
This
just
ain't
cutting
nothing
up.
new. Let her cut up. Come on, baby. Where you want to go? We're going to the movies? Okay. But my mom, she'll be all right.
Yeah.
She'll be all right. Come on.
Yeah.
Because now you're showing that child how to respond
Yeah.
to in a godly way. You know, how to respond when somebody's just acting ignorant.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
You
so
don't
true.
want to say to the child, your mama just ignorant.
Right. But you be thinking it. You be
Your mama
thinking
be
it.
like, "She's so
You be
ignorant."
like, Lord,
Right.
this was whew.
No wonder he gone. But you know, you just keep all that to yourself. And you just deal with the baby. And just like, Lord, can she leave? Because she is pushing my buttons.
Well, one thing we know for certain, blending families are not easy.
No.
They never have been, and they never will be. But is it worth it?
Yes, it is.
Definitely is worth it. And you can come out on the other side when everybody decides to work together. So we want to leave you with, remember, there is no step or bonus in blend. And blended families is worth the work in the end. And keep the children the main thing.
Yes.
Get past your pettiness, get past your isms and schisms, your jealousies, the coulda, woulda, shouldas, and make a better life for the children. So So as we leave you with that, we thank you for joining us for this episode. Again, we're Kingdom Women Talk. Don't forget to follow us and like us and subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube page. Until next time, be blessed.
Bye.
Bye.